Okay. Hey, everybody. I found my student Rashad. Give me some. And to talk about how he's learned how to solve the cube and what's been going on in his life since. Rashad, when did you learn how to solve the cube?
I was towards the beginning of the fall semester, say around September, late September, early October.
Okay, so last semester, and it's now spring. And when you were learning, you learned at the Rubik's Cube Club, or
Correct.
okay. And how long did it take you to learn?
Put in. It was a total of about 2 weeks. I put in at least 2 or 3 hours every day after tackling homework, and I didn't have a job anymore, so I had a
Good
lot of
job
time
with
to
the
devote.
homework. Mentioning the homework. And then, so after a couple weeks, you were good enough to not use the handout and just solve the cube.
Yep. I mean, it's getting to the point where I don't even think about what I'm doing. My fingers just start moving by themselves.
Yeah, that's cool. And where would you where would you practice?
Anywhere. I keep the cube in my book bag and just take it everywhere I go.
So, like, just for instance, where were you practicing when you were first learning how to solve the cube? Would you take the cube anywhere?
Um, Very first place, I spent a lot of time at the mall. I didn't take school too seriously back then, so as I was learning to do this, I took it everywhere, and like I said, I spent a lot of time at the mall, so I took it there and just practiced with it. And when I got good enough, every time I took the cube out, it was just contagious, and everybody be like, "You don't know how to solve that." I'd be like, "Well, if you got a minute or two, I'll gladly show you how to do it." And next thing you know, by the time I'm done doing it, it's like 10 or 15 people around me. It's
Get
like,
out
"What
of
are you
here!
guys doing here?"
Get
Like,
out of
do it
here!
again.
Are you serious?
So serious.
10 people?
At least, no less.
So that's cool. That's really cool. And then so, did you meet some folks in the Rubik's Cube Club? I mean, it's not a huge club, but you met some people. And I know you're involved in more. Are you involved in any more clubs or any other things on campus?
I'm involved with the SGA, Student Government Association, and they pretty much keep school organized as far as the clubs go. Without them, there wouldn't even be a Rubik's Cube club. I probably wouldn't even found out about these lovely things.
Mm-hmm. And then what do I see
Oh,
here?
I'm a peer tutor now. Downstairs in the student center, I do one-on-one tutoring sessions with math, college algebra, and below, and anybody else that
And
needs
last
help.
semester you were taking college algebra with me,
Right.
right? And yeah, you did good. You did well. That's
Thank you.
good. That's good. So this idea of confidence, gaining confidence from the learning how to solve the Rubik's cube. Does it feel like you've gained any confidence? And
Indeed it does, because, like, when you first brought this out, I'll never forget this, and I tell everybody about that. It's like, we brought the cube out and solved the cube before we finished that problem that you put up on the board. Before that, I was thinking about going into the Air Force. Nothing wrong with the armed forces at all, but that's kind of like a last resort for me, and college just wasn't working out too well. But I never thought this thing was possible. I thought it was just trickery, and
get out
after
of here.
seeing that, it was like, okay, so it is doable. And told me about the club, so I attended and learned step by step. So I figured out, like, okay, there really is a way to get around these things that seem impossible. And I've been taking life kind of along the lines of those aspects lately, and right now I'm doing pretty good for myself. I've got one more semester before I get my degree in information systems.
Wow. Dude, I didn't know that about how much of an impact it had when I solved the cube in class. You really hooked, huh?
I mean, I was trying to do the problem, and it's like, I can't stop looking at it, so I just forgot about the problem and just kept watching.
I don't solve the cube in class that often. I'm usually teaching, okay? Um, so it must have felt pretty good to have all those people watching you and not believing that you could do this, and kind of looking up to you, right?
Yep, I mean,
The people at the mall and who else?
just last week, last Sunday, I was at White Castle's. It's me and my girlfriend. We were getting some burgers and fries and stuff. And there's this group of guys, and I pulled out the cube and started playing with it. And one of the guys was like, "Excuse me, sir." I'm like,
Sir?
just, it gets all kind of attention, and You're just asking questions about it, like, what kind of grades do you make in school? I'm like, well, dude, I just started making good grades once I started learning how to do this thing. So I sat down with him, talked for a minute, and I left my food alone. My girlfriend's just over there eating, so my food got cold. But
Oh man.
I mean, I showed him how to do it, and one of the guys said he's gonna go and get one and try it.
That's another thing. Rashad's been one of my biggest teachers of the cube. It seems like you're at every Rubik's Cube meeting, the first guy in there when a new person shows up and wants to learn. You're like, hey, you like teaching.
Yeah.
And that's probably why.
Yep, that's one of the foundations behind me being a peer tutor. I want to
You
be
got
in the
hooked on
education
teaching.
field. Yep.
Yep.
But if I'm not teaching about computers, I'm going to incorporate this in one of my lessons somewhere.
All right.
Somewhere.
Well, thanks for taking the time. I don't want to.
Hey, no problem, man. Anytime.
Tie you down. Okay, and you guys, I don't want to make you watch too much. So, thanks, guys. We'll see you. Let's see. Stop.